So I don't know if you can tell in the video that I did work on this section a little bit, but I'm gonna go back in with zinc white and start layering this again. And I think the biggest change you'll notice is how I covered up that vase in that billboard area. So it's just like the light, like lit up billboard and then the glass. So I think it looks a lot cleaner. The painting overall looks a lot more focused. So I don't know how long we're gonna wait until we go back out to shop, but every 5 to 10 minute segments count, especially when you're working on a large painting like that. So I'm gonna get some painting done. Hey, this is editing June. After that, I went grocery shopping, stocked up on all the ingredients we need for making kimchi, rice wine, as well as all of the food that we're gonna make for our Christmas party next week. And after that, I went and watched Wicked with my friend. I can't remember the last time I went to a movie theater to watch a movie. This movie was so worth it. So I just got back and it looks like Ted's been really busy at home making some kimchi. It's a little messy, but not really going for that clean, perfect house and everything all the time concept here. So he made some pickles here. The house smells real stinky. He probably used like some fish sauce and all that. He's using regular cabbage to make this kimchi, but yeah, he always like dates everything. These are all the things he used. I love having a partner who cooks. I mean, who doesn't? I know I really enjoy cooking myself, but it's just so nice when you can talk about like recipes and like cooking and all those things with your partner, and like it's like a shared activity because our jobs are so completely different, and it's so important to have something that you both enjoy as a couple. Anyways, this isn't a relationship advice channel. After coming back from the movie, I had a little bit of time to relax. I went out to hang out with more friends. This was a very active day for me. We got some quick bites, got some cocktails, enjoyed each other's company. I just love hanging out and spending time with good people. It always just fills me up with so many like happy, bubbly, happy feelings. And you can see in this video that I was a little bit tipsy. Also earlier, I talked about how like, oh, every 5 to 10 minute segments count, blah, 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 blah. I took a nap. I didn't even touch my brush. Every little bit counts, like whenever you can, you gotta paint. Not so easy. I think I love the idea of myself being that way, but unfortunately, I'm not that person. I don't know about you, but I mean, I love painting. Once I start and once I get in the flow, I can paint for hours and hours and hours. But I'm also a human with lots of other interests. I love friends. Sometimes you just get exhausted and you just need to take a break and nap, because I also had to make sure I didn't fall asleep during the movie. So the best way to make sure that I didn't sleep during the movie was to take a nap. So there's that, and this is probably gonna be a running theme in a lot of my videos because this is like the self-talk I have in my head all the time. Especially when I go and like talk to other artists and then I see like just all the amazing work they do, and I'm just like, why? I could be that person if I chose to, but I'm not, and it's my own dang fault. But then I stop and think about it and I'm like, well, they're doing it full-time. I can't compare myself. Obviously, being a full-time artist comes with a whole other baggage. I have a little bit of insight into that since I worked a lot with galleries in like 2017. I did a bunch of shows during then. And that was the year where I initially decided that I didn't want to be a full-time artist and I was going to go and get a job because it wasn't fun. That's for another day, another topic. I'm just rambling to justify me not working on this piece. But the movie was fun and the house smells stinky in a good way. There is a lot of delicious kimchi cooking and fermenting. And we are ready to rock and roll to start preparing for our Christmas party. What I'm gonna do tomorrow now is we have a Christmas party that we're hosting in about a week. Well, exactly in a week. And what I am planning to do is making my own batch of rice wine to serve our guest. My fan favorite is the single stage fermentation. That basically just means you have one like base layer of like rice with the starter noodle. It's the Korean rice wine starter. And you don't feed it any more times. You just like add more water, you talk to them, and it's very much like taking care of your like sourdough. I can't think of any words, any proper words to describe the process right now. It's pretty late in the night and my brain's just completely fried. All that to say, artists are human. We have other things that we like to do, not just responsibilities and like going to the job, but also like things that we enjoy that's outside of just studio work, right? Like I love to make my own pasta, make rice wine, cook and host dinner. So the next few days, well actually the next full week, is going to be a little bit challenging and a little bit overwhelming to keep up with the whole vlog thing, but I'm gonna make it happen. Good morning. This is Sunday. My hair is all crazy. I just got the dogs out to go potty. I'm gonna go shower, get ready, and start making rice wine for, oh my god, my hair. And start making rice wine. So yeah, let's get to it. For my rice wine, what you're seeing here is the Korean rice wine starter called noodle. And this step is not mandatory, but I usually like to let it sit in the sun for, anything between 30 minutes to an hour, just to air it out, because noodle, if you get it straight out of the bag, sometimes it comes with a little bit of that stinky scent. When you let it sit in the sun for a little bit, it takes care of some of that unpleasant scent. Once that's done, I started sterilizing all of my vessels. Sterilizing, I would say, is one of the most important things about making rice wine, because if you skip this step, you might find your rice wine covered in black mold or some sort of nasty stuff. After putting in all this effort, that's the last thing you want to happen. So I make sure that I sterilize anything that touches rice or noodle. That includes your own hands. So whenever I make rice wine, I tend to wash my hands so many times that by the end of the day, my hands all feel rugged and dry, and it's not that pleasant. And I also can't put my hand cream on normally. And of course, it wouldn't be me without a nappy do. I need rice. It's almost 2 p.m. right now, and it's a little bit later than I'd liked it to be, but as long as I'm able to cook all the rice and put them in the vessel before like the end of the day today, they should be ready by Friday this coming week, which would be like the day before the party. So a little bit tight on the timeline here, but in case if this all goes wrong, we'll still have other options, other things for people to drink, but it'll just be a nice addition to everything. I just got 3 of these just because if you look at the individual rice grain, they're a little bit bigger and rounder. And the thing you want to make sure when you're making rice wine is to make sure these little individual pieces of rice grain don't break, because that affects the flavor. And since I'm already out and about, I think I'm probably going to pick up some boba on the way back. And as you can see, while I was busy making my rice wine, my fiance Ted was also busy making, I believe, 4 or 5 different types of kimchi. The part that surprisingly takes the most amount of time when you make rice wine is washing the rice. The goal here is to wash as many times as you need to until you get completely clear water. The best way is if you can get a hands on freshly harvested rice that tends to take a lot less time. But because we don't necessarily have that luxury in the States, or I haven't found anywhere that I can get fresh rice like that, a lot of the rice, like bag of rice that you get from the stores, you know, sometimes they tend to, you know, sit there for some time. So with this, it actually took me an entire hour and a half of me washing 5 kilo of rice nonstop. So that was, I would say, like a mini workout sesh, but it turned out really, really good. I also like to use the metric system when I make rice wine. A lot of the rice wine recipe that I look for and or find is in Korean. Naturally, it's Korean rice wine. All of them use the metric system. So just for ease of calculation, and also to avoid having to convert everything every time I make this rice wine, I got a scale that also calculates in metric system. So everything that I do is in kilos, grams, liters, and honestly, I really like it. And what you do after you wash the rice, you don't want to steam the rice the same way you'd normally do regular rice. I think you can think of it more as al dente. Once the rice is cooked al dente, you cool it for about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how much rice you have. And I think for me, it took a little bit longer. So on average, about 40 to 45 minutes per, I had to like steam them in different batches because my tiny steamer wouldn't fit all 5 kilo of rice. And once you cool them, and the rice temperature ideally needs to be somewhere around 30 degrees Celsius, meaning if you actually touch the rice with the back of your hand and it feels cool to your hand, to your touch, that means it's generally a good temperature. What you do then is, I already put some nuruk in the vessel with some rice, some water. So you start putting all of that rice into the vessel and you mix them up real good. And once you're all done, you add some additional water. I tend to like rice to water ratio to be 1:1, just because more rice to water ratio means sweeter. And from my past experience, when I serve my rice wine to my guests, I feel like my sweeter wines have always been more popular. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. If you want to see what I learned from painting with a full-time job and how I set up my palette, go watch this video next.